My friend, I think it's important that we stop and regroup for a moment because I think everybody is getting ahead of their skis, another term I hate, and people are not understanding what the basics of this thing really is about. If you don't understand the rudiments, and if you pay particular attention to all of this minutia and all of these little stories that are interesting, and instead of looking back and asking, does this particular tile work into the mosaic of the story, or is it interesting in and of itself? If you don't do that, you're wasting your time. And I'm seeing this repeatedly. I'm seeing more and more people, many of them my close friends, who have no idea how elections work. I think they think this is America's Got Talent. I really do. I don't think they understand how this thing works. And it's not about what you feel. It's not about what you think. It's not about what you want. It's not about what should be. It doesn't work like that. So I'm warning you right now, I'm going to be all over the place today. And I want to tell you about this thing, first of all, called image versus reality versus popularity. I don't even know what the term is. Let me explain something to you. One of my fascinating things that I love to look at is pop culture. When does something become popular? And it's only popular if everybody agrees to it. You can't tell people what to do. They have to do it because they want to do it, not because you've told them, not because you've said this is preferred. It's somebody maybe who's popular who does it, maybe enough people that you think are cool does it. When you were a kid, go back and look at stages and look at things like, do you remember the penny loafer, putting the penny inside the Basswegians? Do you remember the Basswegian and this crazy? I don't know why somebody said, let's put a penny inside. Why? I have no idea, but it took off like that. Bobby Soxers, long hair, short hair, crew cuts, punk, tattoos, the greatest study of them all. Overnight, people in this country, and then it spread by virtue of this thing called this. That's right, my cover, my phone cover. And why people don't have a protective device. I use this for my camera here. Why people do not have this on their phones and they have cracked lens. I have no idea. But I'm interested in why things are important. And if you don't understand this, if you don't even ask whether it makes sense or not. Why do people get into this? Everything. Think about this. When meth came, and then ice, and then Trank and others, how do people find themselves in the position of being a meth user? How does this happen? Somebody had to introduce this to you. Somebody somewhere had to go from not being a meth user to this. How does somebody become a Trump fan to a Trump hater? How? Name it. Name what's in style. I'm lucky by virtue of when I was born, and I have seen things, and my life has been a classroom. I'll never forget when Jim Fixx came out with The Art of Running. All of a sudden, nobody ran. You don't understand this. The only people who ran were road work, a boxer. The gym prior to Arnold Schwarzenegger was Vic Tanny, Jack LaLanne, and boxing. You went to a boxing gym. There were some weightlifters, but it was, and then all of a sudden, the gym became, I've never seen anything like it. I remember when all of a sudden hydration became a big deal, when everybody had to carry bottles of water, and then they're constantly walking around with water bottles. Evian was bigger than the jug, and then we have the container. We would sometimes go 6-8 hours without water. I'm serious. Some people might take a sip. We had a thing in our. All right, make a long story short. I don't want to go through this. Let me start off with everything that we do. Everything is not about truth. It's not about fact. It's not about what happened. It has to do with what people believe is the way it is, or what they want to be perceived as following. I know people who are Trump fans. One in particular, she's got every Trump flag, every Trump hat, and doesn't know the first thing about Trump's plans or policies, but doesn't matter. She is because it is her identification. Let me say this to you. It tells people, this is who I am. Forget him. This is who I am. Another bit of history going back. Do you remember in the 70s? I'd say maybe the 70s. You maybe when FM, I know it sounds crazy to people, when we had radio. Do you remember when you had a sticker on your car that told people what radio station you listened to? It told you everything. Oh, that's the rock station. This is a rocker. Ooh, that's so weird. That's that avant-garde station. Oh, okay. It's like when somebody has stickers too on the back of their car saying Cornell. Why do you still have that? And now we really don't have the ability to, because the ways, windows are slanted and whatever. Anyway, it's always telling me, look, it's labeling. So remember, people today don't care at all about merely what the issues are. It's the statement you make. When you see people at a Trump rally and they're holding signs, Trump, they're telling you, this is what I'm about. I'm for Trump because I'm a Trumper, and I'm a Trump, and I'm holding the flag, and I'm an American, and I'm me. Same thing with Kamala, folks. They don't know the first thing about her. She hasn't said anything, nothing. And that's on purpose. And what I'm telling you is that you'll find people who don't really believe in her at all. But they're merely telling you, I'm not a Trumper. I'm not. I'm not involved in him at all. I'm not involved. I don't know what it is. Joe Rogan, who decided through some moment of illucidity, for some reason decides he's going to state something about Bobby Kennedy, whom we'll get to in a moment. Something about Bobby Kennedy where he said, oh, no, I'm not for Bobby Kennedy. I'm merely like, because Joe didn't realize the power of his words. And Joe doesn't understand that Bobby Kennedy is a nut. And nobody gets it. Bobby Kennedy is what you think he is. Bobby Kennedy is saying, well, let me tell you something. You might be a Democrat or a Republican. Well, I'm a libertarian. Oh, you're voting for Trump? I'm voting for Jill Stein. What? I'm telling you who I'm voting for. And Bobby Kennedy is my guy. What does Bobby Kennedy stand for? I don't know. I don't know exactly. But Bobby Kennedy is the biggest joke of them all, and how the con has worn through. And people are starting to say, oh, okay. Look at this. Sabertron Toy says, all caps, Lionel is my morning coffee. Doog morning. Thank you so much, my friend. Bobby Kennedy is the biggest fraud there is. He's not a bad guy. Have you heard about the big deal he's going through here in New York to determine whether he's going to be on the New York ballot? Where does he live? Does he live in Katona in Westchester County? Does he live in Malibu with his wife? He figures, I don't have to worry about this. He has one of the most stupid kind of like lawsuits or ballot cases going on right now. It is so bad. He rents or he has a room in a house that really he doesn't. And he's got his falcons there and he's got his thing, his license there, but he's never in Katona. Edie says, check out NPL, Neuro-Linguistic Programming. Okay, I will do that. That's all. That's been around, by the way, since I remember hearing that in the early 80s. That was a big deal. People talked about that. But I will do that, and I thank you. And thank you for great artwork. Thank you, dear friends. Now, let me explain something. I know Smiling Sue says, I don't care for Rogan. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Biggest thing right now doesn't matter. No, that's not the issue. Christian Janice says Bobby ate too much barbecue bear cup. Well, yeah, but also the thing about, remember the dog and the goat. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The thing about it is that he thinks and this is important. He thinks I can do whatever I want. I'm Bobby Kennedy. I've never had restrictions. You don't understand something. I'm royalty. I don't have to worry about these stupid things. This is the way he thinks, whether it's with his women, his wives, the law. Remember that when they said he was anyway, I don't want to go through this. He's basically, he's a punk who's grown up. He's been through a lot. His father assassinated, drug addict, rich kid, one of these. He reminds me of Philip Seymour Hoffman's character in was it Son of a Woman? Yeah, I guess that when he said the Baird Man. Remember that, where he plays the punk rich kid. That's it. So anyway, so he's right now going through this thing, and he's claiming that he's not in Westchester. He lives in Malibu, and he's lying. I suppose this time I paid something again. Finn Gazinia. Thank you, Finn. I appreciate that. And by the way, I appreciate your enthusiasm. Okay. So what's happening? They're going to bounce him off the New York ballot. He's not serious. He doesn't want this. It doesn't matter. Why is this important? Because Bobby Kennedy represents to people this kind of like, you're this, I'm this. It's like, look at what radio station I listen to, look at what clothes I wear, and look at whom I vote for. Oh, you're a Cornell Wesco. Years ago, it was I'm the Ralph Nader group. Oh, okay. So just remember this. Just remember, this guy is in there, and there are people who are celebrity candidates. They run for office. This is what they do. He has done some incredible good regarding the whole vax purpose, but he wants to be a star. Please don't take this the wrong way. Please. I've seen this. You can tell when somebody says for the first time, it's like, wow, this is great. I'm finally being taken seriously, not just with that, the children and the vaccines. It's boring. Autism, boring. This is better. I've seen this before. And as an aside, you know who also is going to right now? I told you this before, and I know I'm right. It doesn't may not mean anything to you. Is Tucker Carlson? He's loving this. He's like, I am the outlier. I'm the revolutionary. They hang on every word. It's very heady stuff. Very heady. Wow. Oh man, when you think you don't understand something. I'm the voice. Okay. Well, wait, we'll put that over here like that. Okay. Okay. So just some observations. Next position. I don't know how to tell you enough that we're looking at the election like an election. We don't care. I mean, we do care who wins, but we look at it not to change things as to what we want to be true. Does that make any sense to you? Let me see if I can explain this to you. Let me see if I can put this into perspective. First, and listen carefully, nobody knows anything about Kamala Harris. Right now, as we speak, she is the Democrat, she is the non-Trump, and she's the woman, and she's the black woman or the Indian, whatever it is. Jesse Ventura, who is a very interesting guy. Jesse loves being Jesse Ventura. He is a very interesting guy who loves to be the conspiracy dude. Loves it more than anything you can imagine. He absolutely loves it. It's who he is. He had a show called Conspiracy Theory. He had this he had this, what am I trying to say? He had this whole thing. I'm not sure what the word is. I'm not sure what he just loves this. He loves this image. And he's very good. And he loves being the revolutionary. And he loves being the guy who, and he actually said, I'm voting for Kamala Harris because we need a woman in office. It's like, okay, all right, it's going to be like that. And you meet people. Now, why is this important? Why is this important? It's important because before you get into the politics of Jesse Ventura, you have to ask yourself the question of why. Now, by the way, his son Tyrell, great guy. Jesse loves being Jesse. Jesse loves being the guy. Jesse loves it. Loves it. Jesse loves it. By the way, I love when you say, when all of a sudden, sometimes the sound might go off for a second, and it just, people come out of the woodwork saying, you don't understand. It's not sounding right. Okay, I fixed it. No. It was off for a while. I know I fixed it. No. Is it, it's YouTube. That's it. YouTube. All right, stop talking about this. No. You don't understand this. You don't understand this. It's the sound. Stop talking about the sound. No. I'm telling you right now. It's incredible. People who've never said anything about anything I've ever said, if the sound is off, they are all over. Did you fix it? Did you fix it? It was out for a second. It's back now. Well, thank you very much. No, you don't understand. And I appreciate that. Why? Because people are different. And I recognize these things. Okay. So now we got all this crazy talk. We got this one over here. Ventura likes, we wants a black woman. Okay, terrific. So where are we going? It just started. Now, I want you to understand something. You have to be able to analyze what Kamala Scamala is saying, along with Tampon Timmy, old blood and guts, without looking at your like or dislike. Yeah, you have to understand how people think this. So first rule is, nobody wants Kamala, Scamala. They just don't want Trump. Do you hear what I'm saying? Do you hear this? First and foremost is this absolute sense of disgust towards Trump. And if you don't understand that, if you're not able to understand why people don't like him, you're not going to understand how this thing works. And it's not about TDS and all that stuff. Okay, that's fine. Okay, next. They don't know what they're doing with her. Somebody along the line never figured out what exactly do we do with Kamala Harris. She doesn't know anything. Notice how you're not going to hear any laughter. Did you hear the other day when she all of a sudden told the group of the people, she said, if you want Trump to win, you keep this up. She thought, I'm making a stand here. She lost half of her young constituency. She did it. It infuriated people. They were not saying things against Israel because they were anti-Semitic. They were pro-Palestinian and anti-genocide, which is what they thought. Edie said, she's in the honeymoon phase now. That's true. She's also a sugar high honeymoon, but it's over with. But the other day, she didn't realize this because nobody said, this is what you're going to do. She doesn't understand that the Democratic Party is broken down and is fractured and cracked. Listen to what I'm telling you, and this is the absolute truth. You can say whatever you want. You can. But Republicans are solid. They may despise Trump. But they're going to vote for Trump because there's nobody else. There's nobody else. They are not going to let this woman anywhere near the White House. Nobody. They're not. They vote. They vote. They vote often. They vote early. And throw into the mix elderly. Oh, big time. Historically. Let's look at Democratic vote. Minority vote. We used to call them minorities before they whatever they're called right now. Different story. Different story. So they're right now saying, what do? We have her come out. She's saying identically the same thing. Social media. I cannot say again to you the role of social media. I cannot put into words. The role of social media. I can't. I can't possibly tell you how important that is. And invariably, people will always say, I know you want to hear my opinion about social media. No, I don't. No, you're going to hear it. I don't care what you think. Well, I don't have social media. Thank you. I never got into that, and I never really, I don't have Facebook and I never did that. Well, thank you very much. I don't listen to Joe Rogan. I don't particularly care for him. Okay. I don't really care for the Olympics either. I don't really care for it. So therefore, if I don't like it, it doesn't exist. If I don't like something, if I'm not a fan, or if I don't follow it, I don't care about it one way or the other. The Academy Award, who cares? I don't watch it. See, it's all about me. This solipsistic prism on me. That's why those people can never be a part of political analysis. If you don't understand if you don't understand empathy, you don't get it. You should hear these people who don't understand that students on college campuses who are protesting on behalf of Palestinians or against the Israeli government are, many of them, I'm sure there's an exception, but most of them are not anti-Semitic and most of them are not pro-Hamas. Hamas has nothing to do with their particular orientation. Nothing. It has nothing. They look at Hamas as a resistance to apartheid. That was like the Black Panthers or the whatever it is. Not a terrorist organization, not like ISIS. They look at things completely differently. They don't. They don't understand. They look at this as aggression. They look at this as occupation. They look at this as though this is a war. They look at this as a war zone and that this is an illegal encroachment. And they look at this as though Hamas is the natural upsurge or response, that they weren't put on this, like, well, let's just go after Israel for the hell of it. Okay, maybe some do, maybe some don't. Now, what I just told you is not what I think. I'm telling you what they think. Ryan says, I read this morning in the Daily Mail that Kellyanne Conwell might be returning to help the Trump campaign. If true, what can we glean from it? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. She is, Ryan, an absolute wannabe. She is of no relevance whatsoever. She is one of the people who, like her husband, are parasitic on the process. Laurie Cook says, social media exposed MSM for being fake news. Indeed it did. But remember, when you say mainstream media, it's a little bit different. But you see, you got to understand how things work. If you don't know how people think, let me ask you something. If you had the chance to receive a check for what I call reparations because of something that your race, status, class, or family endured and weathered 200 years ago, and I'm offering you, let's say, $250,000, would you take the money tax-free? Yes or no? Simple question. You heard me. Would you take the money tax-free? Yes or no? $250,000 because of some kind of reparation or something. Would you take the money? Yes or no? Tax-free. It's here. Raul says, I'll take it. Jack says, yes. Yes. People say, oh, as an American Indian, no. With all due respect, my friend, you take it. Yes, you would. Of course you would. Don't even kid. Don't even lie to me. You'd say, look, if you're going to give it to me, and you would intellectualize, rationalize. If you're going to give it to me, and it's going to someplace else, hey, look, it's about time. Yes, you would. You would take it. Stop. Don't tell me you wouldn't. People would say, no, they're lying. So, if you don't understand what it is like to be a black person, and have somebody come along and say, you know what, I'm gonna send about $250,000 your way. If you don't understand, that's called empathy. It's called putting yourself in their position. It's not talking about the worth of something. It's not asking you what you believe. Do you think it's fair? No, you're not asking that. That's what you want. That's what you want. The ability to understand and to see things. Do you understand how people don't like Trump? Yes or no? Do you understand that? Answer this question for me. Do you understand how people don't like him? And some people hate him. Yes or no? Do you understand it? Not that you agree with it, but can you say, I understand it. I got it. Like, I understand how people don't like mushrooms. I love mushrooms, but I know why people don't. Maybe the texture. Okay, look at this. You say, for example, hang on just a second. I want to make sure I got this right. NMO says no. Mio Dale says no. You don't understand. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Mari says no. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You understand? Sure, you can. You understand it. Absolutely. It doesn't mean you agree with it. You understand it. You understand. You understand this is how they feel. Doesn't mean that you agree with it. Doesn't mean how you agree with it. Of course you do. Of course you do. You have to understand it. So don't pretend that empathy means capitulation or treason. No. Little time out. One of the stories I've always wondered is, why do serial killers want to be serial killers? I don't and people say control. No, I'm not asking you for a textbook answer. I'm saying, do you understand? Can you grasp what it is that they are after? Because if you don't understand, if you can't grasp it, you're wasting your time. You're just wasting your time with everything. Do you understand it? Do you understand what it is that people are, what their main motivators are? Do you understand this? Okay. One time we were talking about human trafficking. You know what that's about? It's about money. Laurie says, a shy count is right. We took COVID money. Oh, yeah. It doesn't matter. You don't have to. I'm not even asking you to no. Just understand it. That's the way people are. In order to understand what people are doing, you have to understand how this thing works. How am I supposed to understand to tell you something? Listen, I know that this candidate is offering you reparation money, but I want you to vote for Trump because he's not. How do you explain that to somebody? What is my pull? What is my pull? How do I go to a Trump there is a woman, you got to meet this woman. She is, I swear to you, she memorizes it perfectly. She believes that, well, Donald Trump is a convicted felon, and convicted felons are. I say, you don't care about convicted felons. You just hate Donald Trump. Well, and if that's the answer, that's okay. And she wants to pack the Supreme Court. So you want to pack the Supreme Court? So what about Article 2? What? What about Article 3? Is Tampon Tim a fatal moniker? Well, we'll get to that in a moment. I don't think so, but it could be. And we'll get to this in a moment. So I'm going to ask this woman, I'm going to realize in this particular case, I'm talking about, there's nothing I can say. If I could talk about stolen valor, she doesn't care about that. But let me tell you what, you're going to talk about Sparky, and I think this is the most important. Do you know what I'm after? It's not that I want people to vote for Trump. Guess what my goal is? If I work for the Trump organization, guess what I want to do? I'm not going to get somebody to vote for Trump. I want them not to vote for Kamala. Now think about what I just said. How do you get somebody not to vote? Tell me how you do this. How do you get somebody not to vote? I'm talking about the procedure of politics. Forget this other nonsense. How do I get somebody not to vote for her? What do I do? Do a couple of things. First of all, I make them say, "Hey, she's going to win. Don't worry about it." Yeah. Listen, don't worry about showing up. Yeah. She's going to win anyway. You don't have to go vote. Oh, good. Because people are procrastinators. People don't want to do anything. They don't want to do anything. Believe me when I'm telling you this. If you could tell somebody, here's a good reason to stay home, don't worry about it. She's got it. She's got this one. She's up. That's one way to do it. Number two, you want to, and what you mentioned, what Sparky said, is that Tampon Tim and others, is that a destroyer? That might minimize the momentum. That might say, you know what? I don't like this guy. And you can do it a number of reasons. Number one, show up, highlight pictures of him with Ilhan Omar. A vote for him is a vote for Somali terrorists and whatever it is. Whether it's true or not, doesn't matter. Show that group. There are people who see Ilhan Omar with that smile she does, married her brother and all that. You have no idea. The headscarf, the whole bit. I'm sorry. Not that I agree with it, but it's true. Raul says people empathize with others with the same values. They do. But remember, empathize is not to agree with them. It's to understand. Empathy does not mean you share it necessarily. Empathy means the ability to understand and share the feelings. It doesn't mean that you have to necessarily accept them, but understand them. I got to understand it. If I don't understand it, think of hostage negotiation. I've got some crazy guy with a family holed up in some whatever. I got to be able to tell this guy, I know what you're doing. I know what you're thinking. This is why you should let these people go, because I understand what your position is. They won't listen to you. You're a noble man. You're not a criminal. You're not crazy. You're good. And you're a good person. And I want you to show the world, show the rest of the world. Here's what we're going to do. You're not going to be able to validate your claim if you don't let these people go, oh, I see that. Yes. So listen, I'm with you on this one, even though I'm not. And you use this. It's absolutely important. This is the most important thing right now. Now, you talk about something. The number one issue that will get people's attention who haven't already, remember what I want to do. I want them to either vote for Trump or not vote for Kamala. It's the same thing. I prefer they vote for Trump, but just not. I just want them to go down. It doesn't matter. However you fix it. Sparky says, it causes people to inquire, why is he called Tampon Tim? And they may not like the answer after they chuckle. Well, it's funny that you say that. Yes, it might. You'd be surprised, Sparky. One thing, no matter what you know, that doesn't mean people will know what you're talking about. I know the number one issue that I promise you, the vast plurality, majority, whatever you want to call it, of the country believes in is that men and women are different. That a biological male and a biological female are different. They may wear different clothing. They may want to. That's fine. But that's a woman. And that's a man. And the most people don't understand this. This is the reality. So the question that you ask is, if you believe that there's no difference between men and women, vote for Kamala Harris. Now, hear what I just said? I didn't say it this way. I didn't say, if you believe that men and women are different, vote for Donald Trump. That didn't do it. Because, well, that makes sense. And why should I vote for him if you... No. What I said was, if you believe that there's no difference between men and women, none, then vote for Kamala. What? There's no difference. Yeah, vote for her. Wait a minute. What? Do you believe that tampon dispensers should be placed in boys' bathrooms, which, by the way, are ripped down and destroyed so fast in order to perpetuate the idea that men and women are the same? That a boy, a male, a man who's born a male can menstruate? If you believe that, vote for Kamala Harris. See what I did? I took the absurd position and I said, vote for her. You think so? If you think it's right for a man born a man, to be in a boxing ring, beat the hell out of a woman, and we give him a medal, then vote for Kamala Harris. Be my guest. Wait a minute. She did what? That's it. Now, you can also see that about Tampon Tim. He decided there were girls. Have you heard of period poverty? Have you heard about this? There were young girls, women, who by virtue of their own particular poverty, their own particular penury, their own not impecuniousness, but their situation, they're not able to afford or to purchase feminine products, tampons, the whole bit. They can't, and nobody talks about them at all. Nobody even. But dispensers, because they love. If you love symbolic wastes of time, you'll love Timmy. Now, stolen valor, that doesn't grab you. He wasn't a sergeant, command sergeant major. He was a staff sergeant. Is that really gonna? Is it? Who is that going to appeal to? Who? Well, I was going to vote for him, but now he said what? Oh no, that's it. Sorry, Cammy. Didn't know this. Didn't know anything about. No, that's not. You say it like this. If you believe that you should call off the National Guard, which, by the way, interestingly enough, that's what he was a part of. If you believe you should call off the National Guard to allow the city of Minneapolis to burn, because you don't want to excite the rioters, you don't want to make them upset, you don't want to have them become more violent, you want to allow rioting to flourish, because you don't want to, make them upset. If that's the way you like law enforcement, vote for Timmy, the coach. The coach, vote for Timmy. Go ahead. If you think that the best way to handle domestic rioting, organized, choreographed, Antifa and BLM rioting, if you think the best way to handle that and to send the message to the rest of the world is to do nothing, because they're just letting off some steam, and they're kind of like David Dinkins in the Crown Heights thing. They're just letting off steam. Okay. If you believe that, vote for him. Do you hear what I just said? And just show videos. This is the mentality here. Don't stop this. Who in their right mind does it say, I got to stop it? Help. No, that's okay. Help. I'd love to help, but see, I don't want them. I think if I were to send it, no, but stop it now. We know, because police intel, they know this. You do know that whenever there's a riot. Let me give you a little bit of advice. In New York City, on right around like down 10th Avenue on the west side, there's all these car dealerships. Big stuff. Bentley, Lamborghini, Audi, Porsche, this, that, Mercedes, name it. A Dodge, everything. And all of a sudden, one day, right around that George Floyd, all of a sudden we noticed that all the cars were off the showroom floor. They got the word. They got the word. How did they get the word? All of a sudden there were cardboard people putting up cardboard. I said, wait a minute, where did you get this word from? How did you know this? It was like when Rudy Giuliani said he got the word that a certain building on the 11th day of September, 23 years ago, that a certain building was going to fall. He heard this. And they said, wait a minute, who said that? It would fall. Buildings don't fall. He heard it. He said it. Nobody ever asked him a question. They never asked him a question. Anyway, when you know that somebody's telling you something, somebody in the inside skin is telling you exactly how to do this. They knew what was happening. They knew this. So the reason why they knew it was because of intel. So if you don't think the governor and the police and the state police know what's going on, if you don't think they know when the riots are coming, you're out of your mind. They know exactly when the riots are coming. They know exactly. Absolutely. So for you to suggest that you don't know. So while Timmy knew this, the coach, he decided, I'm not, you know why? Because it looks bad. Because they wanted to kiss up and kowtow to the BLMers and the Antifa folks, even though it burned. How do you like that? And that sent off the message. It told everybody from now on, this is what happens. If you want to riot about this, no problem. Minnesota's the place to go. He won't do anything. And we're right. And it justified. People say, you know what? And to protest, well, protesting includes looting too. And you don't want to stop me from looting, right? Because after all, you don't want to get me upset. Do you remember? I don't know where you were, but here in New York City at one point, groups of, and you can never mention the demographic, but they would walk into CVS's, Sephora's, Walgreens, Rite Aids, or whatever it was, with big garbage bags that you would use like to cover a Christmas tree with. And they would just go in and just scoop everything off the shelves. And that's why now, when you want something, you've got to go and call somebody, and they got to go to, I don't know if you have that where you are, but in our local CVS, all the stuff that you want is always locked up. You got to push a button and somebody comes over and unlocks it for you. Because for the longest time, this was occurred. Christian Jana says, you nailed it when you ask who in their right mind. Indeed. But they don't know about it this way. See, it's the way you ask a question. Let me give you an example. You know how you see polls all the time? All right. We're going to do a poll. And I'm going to say, all right, kids, come with me. We're going to meet at the Short Hills Mall. I don't know why. Short Hills Mall in Short Hills, New Jersey. Okay, you got it? Good. We're doing a poll for ABC, and we want Kamala Harris to win. Okay? Good. Now, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to make sure you walk over. The only question I want you to care about is, are they 18? That's all I want to care. By the way, Clapton says, I don't understand why people are willing to sacrifice their personal well-being because they don't like the man that can make it better. Well, they don't see it as being better. But you're right. I don't understand that either. Clapton, and thank you. If that's the way they don't think that way. They don't think he can help because they don't like him. They don't think so. So you answered your question. They don't think they can help because they don't like him. So if I said, okay, do me a favor, see that group? You got 10 people over there. 10 young people. Black, white, 10, well, doesn't matter. But if you could, I would maybe go ethnic or minority. Just saying. But just do me a favor. Go up and say, are all of you folks over 18 yet? Okay, good. Able to vote. Don't ask them if they vote. Don't ask them if they're registered to vote. Don't ask them if they've ever voted. Just 18 is enough. Ask them this. Don't ask them, whom will you vote for? No. Because they're going to say, oh. No, ask them this. Whom do you prefer? Trump or Kamala Harris? And they'll say, oh, Kamala. That's it. Thank you. Thank you. See how I phrased it? If I say, do you want Trump or Kerry Lake? Do you want Trump or Mike Pence? You want Trump? Or if I give you those two, you're going to answer that. But if I say, who would be your ideal candidate? People will just say this, Bobby Kennedy, Cornell. No. You give them this or this. So I'm going to go and I'm going to say, try finding, do me a favor. Here's $1,000. I want you to find me any 21-year-old African-American girl who wants to vote for Trump. Good luck. $1,000 is yours. And you can't help it. You're not going to find it. I mean, there's some outlier, and it's not a race. It's just the truth. I can also look at this. I can say, okay, see that woman right there? There's a white lady. Was she in her 40s? Yeah, she got this. Yeah, that's a lib. Can you spot a lib? Sure you can. Absolutely. So, I mean, so what I'm doing is I'm giving them the results of the poll they want. And they're going to ask me to do it again. I'm going to say, right now in this poll, I'm going to call it the Principia poll. I'm going to give it a name. In this poll, Kamala is 5 points ahead. Hey, I like it. Thank you. That'd be $20,000. All right, we'll pay for that. And then they're going to quote me. Kamala is going to say in the latest Principia poll, nobody says, who the hell is a Principia poll? They don't care. Because not you, but Americans love polls. They just believe it. 9 out of 10 doctors take Camel cigarettes over. Wait a minute, what? 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. Woohoo! Did you ever do? What are you talking about? Most people, it's how you phrase things. So I'm going to say, hey, guess what, folks? Kamala's got it. So stay home. That's what that means. Don't worry about it. If you ask people in these polls the following question, are you going to be voting? No. Truthfully, no, I don't vote. I've never voted. You didn't ask me if I'm voting. That's right. You asked me whom do I prefer, Trump or Kamala Harris? Even say this, Trump or Kamala Harris. Don't even give him a first name. Just say Trump. Oh, yeah. Don't even call him president, former president, or Trump or Vice President Kamala Harris. Oh. Nobody ever goes back and says, excuse me, yes, ABC, yeah. Did you use the Principia poll in last week's? Well, you got to throw that one out. Why? Because they referred to Kamala Harris as vice president and former President Trump as Trump. Oh, okay. It's not going to happen. And that's what you hang on to. And that's kind of what we see this melange of numbers. Now, I'm not saying they're all bad, but I'm telling you, it's not going to happen right now. It's not. You're not going to see this. Most people, I'm telling you right now, most people, believe it or not, believe it as I'm telling you, they're saying, okay, Kamala, what are you going to do? Especially when I played it for you last night. She does the identical speech over and over and over and over and over, and it means nothing to people. At first, it was this. It was, hey, kids, yeah, listen, you know what, Dad? Listen, ever since your mom passed away, I've been kind of lonely. I know, Dad. Listen, I found a lady. Really? Yeah, she kind of makes me happy. Oh, that's great, Dad. Yeah, and I want you to meet her. Hey, that's wonderful. Hey, that's great. Yay. Then you meet her and you think, you're kidding me. She's sick. We hate her. At first you were happy. Then you met her. You like the idea, but then you met her. And you think, wait a minute, this is our mom? No, 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 no. Wait. Hold it. This look, we all like you going out and dating, but you can't be serious with this. That's what this is. People are saying, yay! And it's not that Doug Emhoff's knocked up no, that's not it. And it's not about Tampon Timmy and old blood and guts. He was a sergeant major, not, but a staff. No. It's not the fact that he and his wife went to China for the, no. It's not that he says good things about Chinese folks. No. It's not about the fact that he's a hunter and challenged, said he went to war with. No, that's not it. That's Fox News stuff. That's Judge Janine with I mean, it doesn't matter. They're just amplifying everything. That's not the stuff that's going to happen. Let me put it to you this way. You vote for him. You vote for him. Go ahead. You better pray to God you never need him to act like a commander in chief. Because if so, forget it. Sparky says, until the 1940s in most grocery and drugstores, you had to go to the counter to ask for the product, like going to the parts counter in an auto parts store. Self-serve was kind of new anyway. That's an excellent point. In fact, that's still the way it is in France. The idea, I saw this one time. It was a very interesting thing about how folks traveling to Paris, that's the way they call it, should be acting. And one thing they said was when you walk into a store, always say something like bonjour, because this is their home, their maison, whatever it's called. It's their place, and you're visiting. And don't hold things up and look at it. You ask them, excuse me, could you ask them for help? What Americans do is we don't want to bother people. It's like, no, I'm just looking. Okay, thanks. Because most of the time, the people who are there don't want to help you. So you're giving them the idea that don't worry, I'm just looking. But in French stores, they consider that to be rude. So you're right about that. Barry Taylor says the characters this administration appointed to the benches is laughable. Pilfering bank accounts, identity theft gets them 6 months, 10 years probation. The judges that are already on the bench right now are absolutely the most frightening thing I have ever seen. If just 10% of what I see on Forbes, John Kennedy does a good job in trying to expose these people, but they're voted in and that sort of thing. So right now, as we speak, you've got some very, very serious things to do. Let me tell you what the Democrats are saying. They're saying, what do we do now with Kamala? Nobody likes her. Let me say this again. She is the new flavor of the week, so to speak. Pilgrim says Shyamala is pure bovine scatology. To us, indeed, but to others, there's this kind of remember, Pilgrim, and I thank you. Her fans aren't listening to anything she says. They just want to see her. It's just, this is the lady. She can't get people to show up without bribing them to a concert. She has to almost pay them if she's not paying them originally. She's not like Trump. She has no ability whatsoever to even remotely, and I say this again, to even remotely represent, how do I say this? She has no way to say to them anything that's moving. She's doing some things which is problematic. And I never told you about this. I said it before, but I'll say it again. Social media changes everything. Hey, folks, she's a phony. Okay. Hey, folks, did you see what's trending on TikTok about her being a phony? Oh, I didn't see that. Hey, that's great. Did you see Kamala? She's a phony on TikTok. You hear what I just said? You hear what I just said? Let me do it again. In the old days. Hey, did you hear Kamala's a phony? Yeah. She was at an event the other day and she claims and they're calling it Southern, but it's her attempt at being black. All of a sudden, she's into collard greens. Last night I played for you, they asked her on an urban show, black show, who's your favorite living rapper? And she said Tupac. She couldn't even answer the question. She couldn't answer. She couldn't name one rapper at all. Nothing. Nothing. All she could have said was, "I'm sorry, I like R&B. I'm Motown. I'm sorry, I'm old school. I'm OG." Okay. She could have answered the question, but no, she didn't. She decided to laugh. She said Tupac. I guess Biggie next. No, he's not good. You can never, ever, ever lie about who you really are. So, okay, so if I said to you, hey, folks, did you see that? No, that's 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 25 years ago. Now I say, hey, kids, did you see what's trending on TikTok? Look at Kamala, Scamala. Look at her answering. She thinks Tupac's alive. And you're the, what? And you see the guy with the glasses and somebody making some face or whatever. That's the thing that's going to kill her. Because they're looking at this as a joke. Once she gets branded as a joke, that's it. I played for you last night this Esty Palti, who is the greatest Kamala voice ever. She's got her nailed. It's the most incredible thing anybody's ever seen. And once you pick up on it, you realize, oh, she's a joke. I've got it. Then if you pick up on, how about Timmy dancing? Remember, it's not what Tampon Tim said, but he does these weird dances. And if that picks up, once you are perceived as the joke. Now, remember one thing about Trump. You're going to say to yourself, but what about his jokes? We're already immune to them. We've already heard them. They don't mean anything. We've already heard them. You can't tell anybody a new joke now. It doesn't work anymore. You can't tell anybody a new joke about Trump. What are you gonna do? Orange man, yeah. How many people imitating him? No, but her, the laughing. When I tell you that a lot of people don't know she's got that laugh problem. And if I picked up the phone and said, okay, Peter Thiel, yeah, listen, you don't know me, but I'm with the Trump Vance. Yes, Vance. Vance is your boy. We need your help. You do want to see crypto alive, right? Good, yeah. Well, they're going to try to kill it. You do want to understand that they're going to try to kill Hollywood, hates you because of AI. You do realize that AI is going to change everything. So if you want an organization that is pro-crypto, pro-AI, pro-big tech, you're going to help us out. No problem. What can I do? Do me a favor. I want you to get a hold of your TikTok people, and I want you to saturate it. Really push all of this all the memes, the joking, the seeming, just push it up. You didn't know it's coming from us, and we'll take that into account when TikTok, whatever it is. Okay, you got that? Got it. I want Kamala as a joke tomorrow. And when it picks up, you have never seen this momentum. You have never seen. It's like years ago, if somebody said this, I'm scared. Why? There was an earthquake out in the Pacific. So what? Tsunami. What? If you have an earthquake out there, that change causes a tsunami. Oh, yes. So what most people think are stupid, like, oh, that's just, social media. Oh, no. How important do you think social media is? It made Joe Rogan. Do you hear what I'm saying? Wait until they say now. And all of a sudden, and Scamala is going to say, wait a minute. I'm a joke. Are you watching this? I'm a joke. And it's really picked up. And not just a bunch of kids. I'm not talking about kids. I'm talking about, I am a joke. I am a subterranean. They're laughing at me. And each meme, each thought inspires another. Remember, Trump's been through this. He's already been through it. Everything you're doing is rehash, recycle. They don't care about that. And Trump, in a weird way, they kind of respect because he is the way he is. By the way, Mrs. Ellen and I were listening to, I happened to listen, it was very good. Victor Davis Hanson aside from mispronouncing so many words, I have no idea why he does this. He has this idea where he talks about this grating Queen's accent. Would somebody please tell VDH that if he wants to get seriously, Trump does not have a Queen's accent at all. I don't know where this thing is. Look, that's okay. God bless you. Do your thing. Whatever. There's plenty of room for this. We heard a great piece yesterday. It was Mike Rowe with Riley Gaines. Absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Webb M. Fishman says, much love, Lionel. You're keeping me sane. Your right focus on the sergeant letting the city burn down. Keep playing the cuts of people begging not to have their business and homes destroyed. Yes. Same thing we saw, remember, during the Rodney King riots. Remember when the Koreans, the Koreans? The Koreans were incredible. They were basically armed to the teeth, and they were standing out there saying, don't come here. They had everything from M1 Garans to you name it. So that's the way that is. So we will see. So just remember something. Just stop reading the headlines for a moment, but understand, where is the election going? Not where are the polls going? What the media are saying, what Judge Jeanine or Jake Tapper, I don't care about that. It means nothing to me. This is 88 today. When is she going to, 88 days to go, rather. When is she going to come forward? When is she going to come forward? When is she going to do her thing? When is she going to do her thing? This is what I want to know. When is she going to actually speak to the American people? When is she going to have a press conference? When are they going to demand that she does this? They're running out of time. Remember, this is a couple of weeks. Nothing's being done right now. If she thinks she can just keep this goofy stuff going, she's out of her mind. Believe me when I say this. Believe me. Our good friend Sparky says, Dad worked at Jacob's Pharmacy in Atlanta. It was first self-serve drugstore, but many still went to the counter. They felt guilty about them picking up their products because it almost felt like stealing. Isn't that something? You know what also, and by the way, thank you for that. You know what's also funny is we were in a CVS the other day, yesterday. And two things I want to tell you. One was this older woman. I don't know how old she is, probably my age. I have no idea, but she's like an old crone. She's standing there. And for some reason, the CVS, Okay, 70. So she was standing at the server, and sometimes they say, call customer service, beep, beep. And this poor woman, she says, look, it's only me up here. I'm going to send somebody. Now, here's the question. She has that. I'm waiting. Come on, I'm waiting. You don't understand this. I'm waiting. And I wanted to go up and like this and say, did you hear what she said? Take it easy. I didn't, of course, because I got arrested. But I say, no, just relax. It's not her fault. Just deal with it. It's okay. But it's the way we think today. It's weird. It's kind of Karens or something. But anyway, as I'm looking at Sparky, you're talking about this. They're going to take away this woman's job. Sometimes if I have a checkout before, I don't really need any person. But let me tell you something right now. Something happened, and I don't know if you've noticed this, but makes checkout so much fun. Can I tell you this? You're going to laugh at this. I'm telling you, I know what I'm talking about. I love checkout. We have this, we went by, yesterday we had a big day. Costco, we got the 9,000 waters for $3. I don't know how they do it. It's But to pick it up, it should be an Olympic event. Just carrying it. It's like, 80. It's like, wow, okay. But I love? The little price gun. That UPC gun? Beep, beep. I love that. Where is it? Is it over there? Can I do it? Can I use it? Yeah. Ding, 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 ding. This is great. Ding, ding, ding. And Mrs. L says, just a minute. She's putting them trying to. And then when you go, have you ever done this where you put it on the, is this the scale side? No, it's the other one. Oh, damn it. Make sure you put the item on the, it is. No, that's the bagging area. Oh, what the hell's a bagging area? No, is it the other side? Oh, damn it. You got to move all this stuff over there. Please call for someone. Please call. And then sometimes they're not very, you go like this. Come on, will you? Come on. And you're swiping and it won't work. Come on. You're turning upside down. Jesus, come on. And you've got, like a big industrial strength suppositories or something. Come on, let's go. Can I have some help over here, please? Yes. It's the suppositories. Can you keep that down, please? Can you? Well, now with the gun, beep, beep, beep. Genius. Genius. You know what's really good too? I love this one. And I know I'm wrong with this. I know I'm wrong. The Whole Foods checkout. You can get it within a mile away. Beep. How did it do this? CVS. Over here. You're right up to it. No, here. Here. No, here. Come on. Jesus. Can somebody help me? I can't do that. It's right there. Nothing. The UPC. Whole Foods. Beep. You can think it. It's beautiful. I love that. I love that. And I know what I'm doing is wrong. I know this. But you know what I do? I put my hand out. I pay like that. I know. Somebody says, yeah, but they've got your handprint. Uh-huh. Yeah, they do. That's true. But I like that. And it's done. I love it. Sparky says, Jacob's Pharmacy was the first to serve Coca-Cola at its soda fountain. Dad's boss, an elderly man, Dr. Jacob, who apprenticed under Dr. Crawford Long, who pioneered surgery with anesthesia. I love these stories. Thank you. Brad Rung says, fun fact, Sam Elliott turned 80 today. Love you. Sam Elliott is a fraternity brother, an SAE. There you go. So 5 apples to you, sir. Do you ever hear this joke where the guy's like this? Guy goes, small town. Kid goes into a pharmacist. Can I help you, young man? He goes, yeah. I want 5. Can I get a case of condoms? Do they come in a case? He says, a case? No, I don't think you need a case. Oh, no. I got a date. I'm gonna need. In fact, can I get more than 1 case? Do you have a gross? Can I get a gross? But son, you don't need that. You don't know what I've got. I got this little chippy, and I'm telling you, I'm gonna break record. I'm gonna take care of that. You got it right. So what do you got? I can sell you 10 boxes. I'll take them. Because let me tell you something. You're looking at Mr. Lucky because I'm going to take care of that. Okay. So she goes to the girl's house, to pick her up for the date because he's going to go in. And she says, listen, do you mind coming in? And we're about to eat. Would you have dinner with us? He says, sure. He goes, this is great. I'll go in, make some time with the family, and then I'm going to take care of this one. So they sit down there, and the mother, the father, everybody. And the father says, let's say grace. So the kid's like this. It says, and then be blessings here in the name of the Father and the Son and in your name. And he's like this. And the girl says, I got to tell you something. I never knew you were so religious. He says, what do you mean? He says, no, you're so praying. He says, no, that's not it. I didn't know your father was the pharmacist. Okay, it's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. For God's sake. Remember there was a time when you had a grocery. Did you ever have, there was a place growing up. It's on Hillsborough Avenue, Hillsborough and Armenia, right in Tampa. And it was called, they actually had a little counter with a soda jerk with the malteds and the whole bit. And if you've ever had an actual Coke with the, the actual syrup and the seltzer, there is seriously nothing like it. Pilgrim says Richard's Drugs, Tampa, circa 67 soda jerk. Pilgrim, what's the one on Hillsborough? I think in Armenia. It's on the southwest corner. Used to be it had sundries, this little store. It was really funky. Did you ever do this? Have you had Coke with like Mexican Coke where they use sugar cane versus corn syrup? Or completely different. Completely different. There was a time in the old days when you would pick up your, I'm sorry, but you would pick up your drugs, whatever it was, and your pictures. I remember when Eckerd's first opened, when I was a kid, Jack Eckerd, that was a Florida thing. And you knew the guy. He knew all of your, any kind of malady you have. This guy knows it. There is one CVS we go to. Everybody must have some kind of headdress. I swear to you, I would do this kind of as a joke, but they'd probably fine me. I would have them wrap headgear that nobody has ever seen. I would have a gondolier. I would have Indian headdress. I would have every conceivable thing you could imagine. And they also have this one we go to. It says, if you need following translations, translations for the following languages. I've never heard of these before. But everybody is from some other place. And they do a fine job. We don't really care. You know what I mean? Pilgrim says, Webb City, St. Pete, giant full service. Webb City, 4th Street North, was that it? No. Or Central Avenue? No. Webb City, where they had the mermaids. Remember that one? Webb City. You are really taking me back there. Webb City, St. Pete. It was when they called it God's waiting room. The green benches. This is where all the old people went to die. The Webb City was this enormous. Then it was almost like it was like that. What's that place called? Honey, Chucky's or Cheesy's or whatever? Huh? No, not Chuck E. Cheese. It's the truck stop with the chipmunk. Bucky's. Sparky says, Dad had zero interest in history or pop culture. I found out about the Coca-Cola Dr. Jacob and Crawford Lawn connection on my own. I know he thought of no interest. I'm not going to fill you in on this. Who knows? Now, here's this, Sparky. Can you imagine if you could speak to your father now and you were the same age? That's one of my things. I'd love to meet my father or my parents now when they're my age. That would be the weirdest, because there's always that differential. Smiling Sue says, no soft drinks in 15 years. Well, you know what's funny? That you're probably much better off for that. Aside from the corn syrup. Pickford's. Yes. Are you from Tampa? Pickford's. That's the one on Hillsborough, right? Am I right about that? Am I delusional? Am I talking to myself here? I think it was Pickford's. Yes. Oh, look at that. There you go. Remember there was a Wendy's years ago? There was this there was this bar across the street. It was pretty wild. Deep South. Remember the Deep South? This was in the 60s. It's a great place. Norm Bush, Deep South, Pat Cole Henry, Chuck Boris, all these local bars, these great bar. Young Raymond. I like these local, Johnny Charo, all these local performers. And I one time on my radio show had all of them come in and play. And it was the greatest thing because I grew up, I was too young to go to a bar, but I would see these various folks. By the way, the best reason I think to stay away from drinks, especially sodas, and believe it or not, diet as well, but what it does to your gut flora. Gut flora is the way. I'm telling you, that's the thing. It's not going to kill you, but you're much better off. Raul Rodriguez says 1972, I was a soda jerk at Post and Coach. A jerk. Isn't that something? How many people did not know? There's a place in New York. Is still, isn't an ice cream joint still around where you can go, and it's very famous. I don't know if it's still open, but you can actually go there and be served. 79th and Lex. What's the name of it? Lexington Luncheonette. Laurie Cox says, Al, you'll see and talk to your dad in heaven. Well, I talk to him now. I always think, can you believe this? I always feel, I swear to God, I feel a very, very, a spirit. I know it sounds crazy. I'm not hallucinating. But I always thought to myself, it'd be very interesting to say, you know what? I understand. What are the greatest, this, and only I could say this if I'm his age. I could say, I understand what you did. I understand it now. I get it. I understand it. And here's the best thing. Let me ask you something. Do you find out, my dear friends, that you are reacting and saying things that you are your mother or your father's child? You're saying things they said. You're starting to look like them. You can't believe that you are saying the same stuff. And you think, oh my God. And then all of a sudden you get older. It's like, wow, I'm really looking like them. I'm really looking like him. You know what I mean? It's like, whoa. Like I look like my grandfather. We have my father, my grandfather have the same legs. My grandfather's hands. I mean, it's But I wish you'd say, I understand what you did. And I know what you did. And that was very good. And you were good. You really were. You were okay. You were, and I know, and it's like you never, and you know what? I never thanked you then. But how would I know this? I was a kid. I didn't understand it. Sometimes you realize when you're younger, you know, that you can't possibly grasp, possibly. And also, you know what's very interesting too? May you always have siblings that you agree with. To have sisters or brothers I'm very blessed with that. That you get along with, and you're like on the same team. There's no, because let me tell you something. Just because they're your I've seen this a lot. Just because they're your blood doesn't mean they're anything like you. How many of you have siblings that you think are from another planet? They were dropped off. Pilgrim said, L, I'm a dinosaur, 65 next month. Well, there you go. I'll be 66 this month. Living proud, get all my discounts. All my discounts. You'd be surprised. One time I said, excuse me, do you have a senior discount? Yes. May I have it, please? Yes. Is this a movie? Yes. Do you have any senior discounts on that? Yes, we do. And one more thing. Yes. I'm a little slow. I won't really understand the movie. So consequently, I won't really enjoy it that much. Can I get a discount for being slow? I mean, you wouldn't charge somebody who was blind, would you? I mean, they couldn't see it. Wouldn't you give them half price? They can hear the movie. Would you charge a blind person? Come on. I want every discount there is, just because. And the age, business, the number, when I tell you this, I don't, it doesn't mean anything. I'm not in any kind of competition where, I can't perform sports anymore, or I can't do this anymore. I'm aged out of, no. In fact, to be honest with you now, knowing what I know now, that's why I'd love to sit down one time and tell Joe Rogan, you really think you know a lot of stuff, don't you? You don't know anything yet, because sometimes it takes you 5, 6, 7 times before you recognize something, before you say, oh, I get it. That's how many times. And the only way you get that is over years. Not because we're smart. We've seen this a million times. It's like, you know what? I'm starting to catch on. I've only seen this 10 times. Oh, yeah. There's a certain sense of, I've been to this movie before. I know where we're going with this. That's all. All right, dear friends, first and foremost, a little bit of gratitude. Gratitude goes a long way. Let me say to our good friends, Pilgrim Media, Lori Cook, everybody, Raul Rodriguez, Sparky, Brad Rung, everybody. Here we go. Webm Fishman, WBM. I don't know what that means. Thank you. Barry Taylor. Thank you. Clapton. Kristen Janos. We thank you for your love and kindness. Let me see what else we got here. I said Ryan, Edie, and good Finn Gazinia. I love that one. Finn Gazinia. Edie, we love her. Sabertron Toys. Thank you so much. Also, a great little toy store. If you can find toy stores again, it's amazing. Raul says, I got old and I turned into my father, an ape. I don't know what that means, but bless your heart. Simply says, Dad knew MLK's dad, MLK Sr., as a customer at Jacobs. He said MLK Sr. carried himself with such dignity that even outward racists in the Jim Crow South treated him with respect. Oh, I know what you mean. We had something, and I'm going to tell you this, and I tell people this, and they don't really grasp what I'm saying for reasons that I'm becoming used to. Remember, get used. If you know what you're talking about, very few people will get it. There was a place in Tampa, and you would know this, it was called Morrison's Cafeteria. There was one on Dale Mabry. There was one on like Fowler. But Dale Mabry was the one. Right around Christ the King, Dale Mabry and Henderson, that always flooded. Anyway, I think. But I know it was Dale. Anyway, so it was a place where Pullman porters, black retirees from Pullman, from the train company, would be the waiters. Note I'm saying this, waiters at a cafeteria. And you'd go through and you slide through and you'd say, they have this big roast beef. And you go, oh, I'll take that. And they slice this microtome like, I can read the newspaper. What is this? What are you doing to me? This is a slice. I want a hunk. Can't do it. All right, fine. And you go through this whole thing, and there was this woman checking this thing out, and she was just a maniac with the old fashioned. They would have your water glass, and they would take your ticket and slap it to the side, and the condensation of the water glass would stick to this. And there would be these very wonderfully dressed black gentlemen, crisp morning coats, almost white, almost like with epaulets and rank and braids and shoes that shined. And oh my God, it was militaristic. And they had this style. And if you use them, people said, step and fetch it, Uncle Tom. It wasn't at all. It was a true Southern affectation. And they would say, like, good morning. And everybody say, hello, Henry. Hello, Ms. And they were going there for years. The mother would bring the kid, and now the kids got them kids, and the great generations knew Henry. And when Henry died, they would go to the funeral. Morrison's was it. And you saw this. Just black folks, no white waiters, no young, old men. White hair sometimes, but these uniforms, you could cut your hand on the crease. And I would sit there and I'm looking at this. I told my father one time, I said, this is a scam. I said, this guy, first of all, he's a waiter at a cafeteria. We're doing all the work. He takes the tray over here and walks it over here, takes it off the tray and goes like that. I said, what is it? He goes, shut up. It's a tradition. That tradition of being scammed. A waiter, the guy says, can you go send it back? Anyway. But it was like, good day, good day, Henry. How you doing? Wonderful. Didn't think Southern affect. Didn't even think black person. Didn't even think, hey, how come there's all these old black men here? This is racist. It was tradition. It was the South. Guy's making a fortune. Until they said, this looks a little outdated. And they killed it. Because some schmuck, some lefty walked in and said, this must be wrong. This must be racist. Why? Because there's black people serving white. I know. In the old days in New York, if you're a New York waiter, if you were a waiter at the Palm, They some of those guys were there for 50 years, but we looked at it applying our own idiosyncratic lunacy. Sparky says, Dad never forgot a face or a name, so he remembered people, whether they were famous or not. Funny, he didn't really know the two MLK's historical significance until he retired and saw about them on TV. Isn't that something? Isn't that something? That's the greatest compliment where somebody says, You're? Yeah, because that means, and your father was very ecumenical, treated everybody the same, didn't really care. I remember years ago, there was a friend. I forget, how did it go? I was with a relative or somebody. We were at something at the time. Bobby Heenan was with me. I said, I want you to meet Bobby Heenan. My relative did not know who Bobby Heenan was. The wrestler, Bobby the Brain. Didn't know who he was. Didn't know, never heard of him. Bobby's the sweetest guy. How are you? Nice to meet you. And so we're someplace else. And the name Bobby the Brain came up. And I said, and my cousin or somebody said, oh yeah, he's a very nice. He goes, heard him say he's a rat, he's a this, he's a heel. And he said, I beg your pardon, he's a gentleman. I said, no, you don't understand. That's his persona. What? I had to explain like wrestling in a minute. No, he's not. No, that's good that you say. What? Did you hear what he was saying? Yes, I know but Bobby would want you to say that. Why would he want? Because it's professional wrestling. Aunt Maxine, don't you understand? Anyway, did not understand. It was the hardest thing saying, thank you. He's a nice man. How dare you? Pilgrim says, Burn Steakhouse, trained working the fields. Were you there? Were you Burn Steakhouse? Burn Laxer. Burn was his place. I don't know if it really holds its own thing. I don't know. I'm not going to say anything because people in Tampa still go crazy. Burn Steakhouse, a guy named Burn Laxer. So on Howard Avenue, it was always the decor was like a whorehouse. It looked red brocade and just anyway. So it was this steakhouse, the Arden Steaks. And to work there, you worked in the fields out there, like in Town and Country or whatever it was, and then you would work there, and then you would how do we say this? You would then maybe work to the kitchen, and then you were part of a brigade, and then you'd maybe you'd make the floor. These guys made a fortune. Our good friend Brad Rung says Bobby the Brain was so funny with the other guy. Would that be Gorilla Monsoon? Maybe perhaps. Yep, Gorilla Monsoon. There you go. Brad Rung. There we go. Just as you said that. By the way, in this place called Burn Steakhouse, there was a piano player one time. And you would have a phone. And you could pick up the phone and say, can you play, Stairway to Heaven? And you start playing. And there was a little camera. And you could see him. You could see at your table. It was called the something Wah or whatever his name was. Dessert room, and he had these desserts and you could get port anyway. So there was this guy playing the piano and you could pick up your phone, make a request, and you could see him play it. So I would pick up the phone and a couple of drinks. I picked up the phone. I said, the shoot number 7 is lady, lucky lady, and around in the corner. And we'd laugh and see the guy in the camera look, frustrated. Pick up the phone. He's and nobody but you. And he'd pick up the phone and you'd say, yeah, is Dave there? Click. And you could tell he was becoming more and more miffed because he realized that we were mocking this seriousness of his playing. So as we finally left, I didn't want to make any eye contact. The guy's playing and he says, I know it was you. And then we know because I didn't realize that our little booth lit up. Okay, Sr. went to a Protestant convention in Dresden, Germany in the early 1930s and was locally famous for that. He felt so inspired that he changed his and his son's name to Martin Luther. I did not know that. I thought he was MLK. I did not know this. Let me see this. Not that Wikipedia means anything. He was born Michael King Jr. Very, very interesting. Michael King Jr. Early life and education. I'll read this again. Early childhood. Anyway, I'll read this later. You know what? Thank you for that. I did not know that. I love great lore, not trivia, but lore. I did not know that. Fantastic. All right, dear friends, do me a great big favor. This is Mrs. L's YouTube channel and Twitter. I demand, I implore, I entreat, I beseech, I ask. I respectfully request that you follow her immediately on YouTube at Lynn's Warriors, right there. Lynn's Warriors. Do it for me, please. And follow her on X or Twitter as well. It's wonderful. This was an hour and 31 minutes today speaking with you. I enjoyed this immensely. Absolutely immensely. I thank you for this. Oh, and Sparky, you are this lore. Martin Luther was from the Dresden area. I know that World War II firebombings destroyed untold numbers of Protestant artifacts. Were the firebombings a Catholic conspiracy? I do not know. I do not know. But there was probably more. I know that the firebombing in Tokyo itself was worse than anything that was done by virtue of the two bombs in Nagasaki and Hiroshima. It was horrible. Absolutely horrible. So monumentally terrible. All right, dear friends, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Sparky, I love the story about your father and sharing that. Just then it takes us back to a particular time. I love going back to I love to see an old hardware store. I love the smell of fertilizer. I know it sounds crazy. Old, just places that where service was key. That's all. I think it was a better time. And it's something because today we are so antisocial that you hire some kid who figures he's entitled to something. There's no, in any event, enough with the kvetching. All right, dear friends, see you at 7 p.m. Don't forget, make sure you're subscribed to Lionel Nation and Lionel Legal, because as the other movies or videos drop, you'll be alerted. All right, dear friends, have a great and glorious day. And remember, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you.